backwards. Have you? Has everyone read the Timaeus, Plato? Because you'd love that sugar cookie.
Have to look that up.
Yeah, Timaeus. Just
I
watch
might
it.
be.
Watch
I
it
might
on
be
YouTube.
vaguely. What is it?
Timaeus.
How do you spell that?
It's a Plato. Timaeus or something like that.
Timaeus Plato. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, put it on YouTube, and because there's a guy that does it, and he the way he voices it, he may sound a little bit nasally at first, but he really gets involved with it. It's a proper comedy, literally. It makes a mockery of the sophistry, and it shows you the playbook that people are learning by how to have the non-argument.
Is it an audiobook kind of thing?
Pardon?
Is it an audiobook kind of a...
Yeah, you can. Thing? Yeah, there's on you. If you do it on YouTube, there'll be somebody who reads it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see if I can find it so I can get you a good one. Yeah, I think it's one of the best ones. Somebody put us onto it. I think it was.
What's the gist of it?
It's sophistry. It's where Socrates and his mate literally take the piss out of the sophists. But it depends how you read it, how you see what's going on, whether you see one side of the argument or the other. And he just exposes them as blatant liars with no argument. It's a call out. It's where he literally calls out the sophists.
But a sophist, that's different, I thought, Or does a sophist, what's the difference there?
What do you mean?
Well, to me, a sophist would be somebody that pretends to know something and they really don't, and they're just arguing an opposite point. I think what you're saying is on this other thing is they don't have a fucking point. Is that the right thinking about that or no?
Well, the sophists are a way to use the argumentation method of being able to use rhetoric without the logic and the argument, right? So if you think about it this way, right, at some point in the past, there came about logic, right? A method of finding the way for you to particularly reason things for yourself and the way to formulate arguments. Obviously, if you're well equipped in that art of formulating logical systems for yourself, it's pretty hard to get shit past you.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're aware that the person that you're talking to hasn't got these means of logical thing, then you can seem like a wizard, right? The other person you'll be able to dominate them with words.
Yeah.
Right. Well, imagine now you're a wealthy guy, and you want your son to be brought up with the most knowledge possible, like knowledge being the acquisition of stuff, right? In your mind and the way you do that. You would employ somebody to come and teach. Well, if the battle is met within an argumentation format, then you would have to be able to do better within that argument, wouldn't you, than somebody...
Yes.
Right. Now, if somebody's got a hold in a truth and they're like a lowly figure, a commoner, then this person that's been made to do whatever, brought up, has to be much more cleverer than the other person. So if at some point you can't win an argument by the logical argument, then you still have to try and win the argument by swaying the people. And that's where sophistry comes in, and the rhetoric. So sophistry is, I consider sophistry to be the part of the argument that's won through rhetoric and non-argumentation.
So you're
And
saying
not
that I destroyed Sugar Cookie without even having an argument? Is that what you're saying?
And we're talking about something above your head.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Nice of you to interject again, though.
That's great.
I got the invite.
What invite?
Yeah, go ahead. The invite.
Anyway. So I think it's more along the lines of, even if you don't have the truth, you can still manipulate somebody or win the argument with the use of rhetoric for somebody that's, like you say, like lowly down, that doesn't have the education or whatever. Even if they do have the truth, but don't know how to convey it or argue that point properly. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, listen to Timaeus. If you don't have an idea on how to formulate logic, therefore you can't make an argument, then how do you formulate an argument to beat a real argument?
Even if you do have the truth, if you can't convey it properly and defend the arguments against it, you're gonna lose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you have no rhetoric but all the arguments and all of the truth, but no rhetoric, you can't portray what it is you're meant to do. Now, if on the other hand you only have rhetoric, because you don't need to focus on logic, you don't need to focus on any of the proofs or anything leading up to it. All you need to focus on is rhetoric. And that's like getting one over on people within a linguistic debate, right? Without an argument.
And that's what you're saying, the sophistry comes. Yeah,
pure sophistry. Like, not just a little bit of sophistry within an argument to try and trick people, to allow a fallacy within an argument to try and push that through. Not even that. This is literally pure open sophistry. No argument, no nothing.
It's the knowing of rhetoric more than anything at that point, then, right?
Yeah, I guess. Or it could be a purely exploded mind that's just going. Bleh.
Sounds to me like it sounds to me like a rap. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'd like to point out that it's not just rhetoric. Like, in today's day and age, you got, pictures, and there's visual aids and stuff like that to go along with the rhetoric.
Sure.
Well, how do you practice just rhetoric, or just sophistry or rhetoric?
Hang on, Captain Caveman, what were you saying?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. I think I stepped on him. Sorry, Caveman.
Oh, that's okay.
I was saying it sounds like a rap battle to me, where you just overpower them with words and don't matter what they really mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the idea of the logic. The logic is the part that entertains the mind. Sophistry just entertains fantasy. It's not real. None of it. There's no challenge to a sophistical battle. It goes nowhere. I mean, people, once you start seeing it, you'll see it fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
See it with fucking lots of conversations.
And people with no arguments will use every possible trick, including fallacies and diversion and obfuscation and anything they can The
Mainly
higher
to
your verbal IQ, the better you are at employing those tactics.
Yeah, because you can recognize it.
yeah, they do
Yeah.
get to
Yeah, I
team
think
up as well, don't they? Herd mentality.
that's the key too, is being able to recognize it. You can identify it. You can, isolate it. Point it
He
out.
says these three ethos, pathos, and logos. So what's the ethos and the pathos?
Hang on, Mobius, what were you saying?
I was just saying that it's key to be able to identify it so that you can then isolate it and point it out.
Yeah.
Hold on,
And
Sugar
that's
Cookie. What do you point
kind
out?
of what
Point
I
out.
was saying earlier.
Hold on,
That's,
Sugar Cookie.
that's
Point out what?
no,
Point out what?
I won't hold
Oh,
on. I'm not going to hold
oh.
on. No.
Oh, I see how it works. Good.
So that's what I was saying earlier when we were talking. Is it holds true for personal and professional life, like outside of this, that makes it even more valuable to be able to realize when people are saying shit that makes sense. You don't necessarily have to call it out, but you can at least recognize it. And I think
Can you
that's
give an Can
like
you give
what
an
I was saying
example?
earlier.
Can you give an example?
That's what I was saying earlier.
Can you give an example
Was
there, Sugar Cookie?
that's what I was saying earlier is that
Sugar Cookie, could you give an
um,
example, Sugar Cookie? I'm just wondering if you could
can
give
you
an example.
shut the fuck up and stop
Thanks. You're going to
interrupting
get
me,
muted if
please?
you don't stop interrupting.
All right, I'll let him give the example.
So that's what I was saying earlier was like it's a valuable thing to be able to use in personal and professional life in order to at least like that's what I was saying before I got interrupted was that's a valuable thing. You don't necessarily have to call it out, but you can at least recognize it to know kind of where people are coming from and how to deal with it. So I
Keep
think
calling
that's
it it. I mean, can you be more
a very
specific?
valuable
Whatever
thing.
it is, what you're talking about at all?
Are you going to interrupt me again?
Yeah, one more time, yeah, or a few more times. There's really no limit, I guess.
I don't really want to have to mute you, no thanks, but I will if you keep on
I know
interrupting.
you guys are awfully cowardly in this room. I'm seeing that. Yeah.
What?
This is a prime
Cowardly for
example.
what? What are you talking about,
Yeah.
Tanks?
No, this is a great example
yeah.
of how we
It's
can
good.
do
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
There we go. Can you lay out the example of? Can you lay out the example?
Yeah, what was the cowardly thing about? Was that about us not muting you? Were you saying
No,
we were being
sugar.
cowardly by not muting you?
Yeah, so Sugar Cookie's going over rhetoric and logic and how it works and how he can see it, spot it, and
No,
identify
we're
it. I'm just
having a
asking him to do
So
those
discussion,
how
simple
is it?
Tanks.
things that
How
he's
is the
claiming he's able to
cowardly
do,
part?
and
How
he's
does the
not doing
cowardly
them. I don't
part
know. I
play
don't know
into
how
this?
strong his argument is.
So how does the cowardly part play into this conversation
So
that
how does
we're having?
how does you interrupting me different from me interrupting you?
I'm sorry.
It's ironic that
Okay.
he wanted an example and he's giving one.
All right, there we go. And then I
Yeah,
want you to just lay it out.
exactly.
That's all. I want you to lay out the points and then identify them, just how you're claiming you're able to do. Go ahead.
It'll all be on the
Yeah,
video.
the only
It's
reason
dead easy.
So how does the cowardly part play into this?
This is you're claiming that you understand rhetoric, argument, etc. Lay out the points and how
Okay,
it works.
so this is exactly what we're talking about. And I think this is a great example when you said that. This is the cowardly conversation or what have you. How is it how is what we're talking about cowardly?
Right. So that's another straw man. So the cowardly part is anytime I try
Not a
to.
straw man, not a
There we go again.
straw
See,
man.
that's how you don't know how to
It's
behave the way
exactly
you
what
think
you're
you have
talking about.
to behave. The other right. So when I
Not a
ask you,
straw man.
there you
Those are
go again.
your words.
There you go again. So you don't know how to converse. So I'll let you keep learning. Go ahead.
Oh no. You're the one that said that we were having a cowardly conversation of some sort.
Straw man.
Explain. Those are your words.
No, they're not. They're your
Explain
words.
how.
That's what a straw
Explain.
man is. Those are your words, taking what I said and making it
No,
your own straw man.
no,
Yeah.
no. I said of some sort. Why did you use the word cowardly?
Are you ready for it? Are you going to interrupt?
I would like to know. I would like you to answer the question directly.
And then I did the same to you. You said, no, I'm going to have to stop you from speaking again. And then Mobius seconded that and said, we're going to mute you and turn you down. So then that was two people who decided to maybe turn me down because they just didn't want questions asked them. That's very cowardly. That was the cowardly act. Yeah, you interrupting me constantly, right? And then you not addressing my questions, and then Mobius saying, "I'll just turn him all the way down." That's
I'm
very
not. Okay, so hold on. Let's get the timeline straight here, okay?
Go ahead.
We were having a conversation, and you decided to jump in.
That's how conversations
While
work.
you decided to jump in, other people were making points, and then so.
Oh, the rap battle. That's right. It's like a rap song. Go ahead. Yep. We all had to stop the presses and listen to somebody say it was a rap song. Right.
Like, I don't know what conversation you're listening to. This is. Go ahead, Mobius.
I was just asking No Thanks if he's even aware of what he did. Like, did you even, even know what you did?
Right. So that was the cowardly part. Now you can address the conversation, the actual argument. Go ahead. Now you can lay out how it works. Or
I asked you a question. Are you afraid to answer the question?
You don't.
Yeah.
Want to lay out your examples of arguments. I got you. Right.
Are you aware of what you did?
No, I'm not. If you could write it out in a nice little syllabus, like, point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, formulate it. That'd be awesome.
There was a conversation.
Did I not just
you interrupted?
Yeah.
Do you not remember that part?
I didn't hear you. Was that?
I said there was a conversation happening and you interrupted.
You're claiming
stepped
I
all over.
Yeah.
No, you stepped all over Sugar Cookie in the middle of what he was saying.
You're claiming that. Yeah, can you point it out? Yeah. That's your claim.
You're demanding
your
for him to stop what he was saying. You were demanding that he stop what he was saying and give you an example.
I said, all right, can you give me an example now?
Multiple times.
Is what we're talking about.
Multiple times, and we had to get there was Mobius and I talking at one point, and Captain Caveman was trying to come back, trying to say something. We both stopped, recognized that he was trying to say something, let him say something, and then we continued the conversation along with that. So
add me in there because I also stopped. Right, so add me on in there. Right.
We're not trying to do what you're trying to do.
We would have done the same for you.
Right. So I mean, are you imagining that I kept speaking while you guys stopped and let Caveman go?
You were being a dick about it.
I don't know what you. Yeah, I don't know what you call this.
You're being a dick about it now, and that's why we're not stopping to let you talk, because you're being a dick about it. You want to be treated cordially. You got to treat people cordially.
Right. That's what I'm pointing out. That if you want to be treated cordially, then you should do the same.
You're being disrespectful and an annoying prick.
Can you
So we're going to treat you accordingly.
Right? Can you name?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, yeah, right. Now. So those keep being your examples, right? And they're not good examples.
I'm being disrespectful. Yeah, you're being a little bitch.
All right. So now I can specifically name, right? So you're being disrespectful, Mobius, by changing the tone of your voice and then calling me a bitch, right? Now, can you do?
I'm giving what I'm getting.
What I did.
Dude, just leave.
Tell me what I did.
Seriously, just leave.
That's the cowardly part. That's what I'm saying. You can't have a conversation, and it's very cowardly. Yeah, you can't.
No one wants to talk to you.
Yeah,
right. I mean, is that what it is? That no one wants to talk to me here?
I think you're exposing all of the tactics, guy. You're letting everybody know what team you're on. Quite clearly.
Yeah.
You say so. Yeah, there's teams.
Right. I mean,
we kicked you.
You right, do what you got to do, bud. I mean, I got a server with DP clear.
This is how we're able to notice this shit.
Or muting you.
We don't,
because you're exposing yourself.
Yeah,
the
me
more
and DP,
you talk,
Cleary,
the more you expose yourself.
We're over there just talking to people, and
we're talking about. Sorry. We're talking about how to notice. Oh, I thought you were done. We were talking about how to notice different things and different arguments and how that can play out. And then we were having a conversation about that, and people were talking back and forth with that and having an actual conversation. You were jumping in and you were jumping in. and we were allowing people
How
that
did I
were
jump in?
conversing.
That's what we're missing. You keep saying I jumped in and did something.
It's
like
not that
you
you
did
just did it
just
once.
now.
You kept
Like
doing
you
it.
did
You
just now.
did it.
Right, so
Literally just did it.
you're describing a conversation
Wow.
and how it works, and then calling it jumping in. It's strange, yeah.
And you have no idea what you're doing, do
You're
you?
either unable to recognize how you're insistently jumping in at the wrong time.
Did you just hear this guy? He just
or
jumped
you're
in.
not able to
Whoa,
recognize.
whoa! You're jumping in, man. Stop jumping in.
Let me know when I can talk.
Whoa!
Yeah, go ahead, get it all out. Get it all out, Tanks.
Hey, Cookie, stop jumping in. What are you doing?
Here, I'll
Jumping
mute
in.
so that you can just
Dude, geez,
talk.
Mobius, stop jumping in. Everybody's jumping in.
How's that?
Is that what
wanna
we're
talk?
talking about?
Go ahead.
I mean, is that jumping in?
At this point, you're intentionally doing it.
Stop jumping in, bro. I'm not. I haven't given you the stick yet. I'm trying to find out. Is that the problem? Like the jumping in? Is that jumping in? You guys doing that? Go ahead. You
don't know how to have a conversation, do you?
You guys are giving me a headache. I haven't had a coffee yet.
Silliest argument. So all I asked you for was not. It wasn't argumentative even at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
you're just.
We would
go ahead.
talk to USE, but the airwaves are being overrun by. Oh, whoa!
I hear that. Maybe you should calm down a bit. No thanks. Take a couple of minutes. Relax, bro.
Trying to figure out where.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, Mike Pay.
Yeah, do you want to jump in?
I'm caught. Well, I've got something to say. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think
Here's
it's.
my vote. Sorry, Spot. Go ahead. My bad.
No, you lot. All of you lot talk.
No, Spot. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No. It's all right. I've been listening.
Yeah, go on, Spot on. Go on.
And,
go on.
No thanks. All I was going to say is. Go on, Spot. Go on. Oh shit.
Okay. Well, so here's what I say. I vote.
I haven't finished what I was saying, yeah, and you're going to.
You guys are teaching me
again.
Is
he on purpose? Because I don't know with him sometimes.
Okay, no, I say let Tanks get it all out. What do you want to say, Tanks?
No, you guys are teaching me how to have a conversation, right? So I'm paying attention. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like that. No, it just sounds to me like there's that bit. There's abrasion there again. Yeah. Happened last time, I think. Some word abrasion came up, and it just seems like you're fighting against stuff. I don't know. I mean, I didn't catch that first, but you came in and said something based on something that you claim to have heard. But and then there was all that, and then there was. So it's just for me listening in. It's just have a break or just come back in a bit. Nothing's going to get resolved all the time that you're all talking over each other, right? Fucking hell.
You don't know what he's here for.
Anyway,
Spot on. He's here for this.
This is great. He said he didn't.
Maybe we can just, maybe he can come back, clear his thoughts, and come back with something that he wants to talk about, rather than talking about all this shit that happened earlier.
No. He hasn't got anything to talk about. He's got nothing to talk about. He's here to talk about nothing, to disrupt.
So that's the point where the floor was open to him, and he said, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know when that happened.
We're going over sophistry, Spot on, about Timaeus. We were talking about pure sophistry with no argument. Not just a little bit of sophistry, throwing a fallacy in there, right, for people to find. A little mistake. No, argument. Yeah, this is literally nothing to come with other than disruption. That's what we've been talking about since.
That's all I've heard.
Yeah, that's it.
Every time I come back, it's like the same shit. I'm like, God. You guys can battle it out as to figure out who thinks what, but it seems to me that don't know that. Talk about something else.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is we are exposing this, right? Literally now.
Oh, you're going to? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Tanks is helping us, showing us all of the shit that people do with no argument.
I mean, it's literally what we were just talking about.
Yeah, it is literally. And I said, "Can you give me an example?" And then he started talking about nothing and gave the example. And it said, "See how you just talked about nothing tanks?" I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
That was the example.
Yep.
So
Initially, it was white knighting, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, he was.
And
That's
He
what
was
he thought.
concerned trolling.
Well,
concerned.
you run back the tape and find out, but yeah.
So you're over on DP server. You've been hearing bad mouthing of us on a daily basis, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you're here to do what? No thanks? Again?
No, again, that's another. So you can build that straw, man. Nobody talks about you guys too much there. I only hear you talk SC over in like geos and stuff like that. Yeah.
You never hear
Everybody is
DP bad
recognizing
mouthing
this, right?
Bev? You never hear DP bad mouthing Bev over on DP server?
Not maybe like 12 seconds conversation. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Bev? He never has anything good to say or something, but that's
And
about
I'm
it.
sure that's affected your opinion on what this server is and what Bev is like.
No, I don't know if it, I mean, we can talk about that if you want, but that's not what we were talking about.
No, I'm just trying to, stick the dots together of why you're here and why you're disrupting and, all that stuff.
But the thing is you've been here before, no tanks, and as I remember, and I'm not saying this to get on you, but every time you come here, it seems like it ends this way. Is that right? Has anyone else picked up on that? Because
yeah, he's on Brenda mode. I don't know why you're on Brenda mode, no thanks, but
why does it always end that way? It's like
right. Well,
let me just say that. Let me just say this.
So we could do like two formulations, right?
Hey,
like, is it everybody
no,
who? Hey, bud. I was
hang on 1 second. Let me come to your defense.
Let me just talk speak my own words, right? So like when I'm addressed, I'll speak my own words in my own defense, I guess. But then you can take.
Whoa! I just wanted to try it out. Sorry, I just wanted to try that out. It works.
Yeah, another.
Yeah, it works. It
Mic
works,
check.
man.
Hello,
It
mic
works,
check.
man.
You guys hear me? Mic check.
I'm just gonna say, SE, you better just butt out, dude. Just kidding.
All right.
Just fucking with you.
Yeah, so all I asked you for is an example of what you were describing, like a lesson, right? Like you're doing like a lesson plan, like a little thing with rhetoric and sophistry. And I asked you for an example, and then you just deviated from that because you don't have it in you. That's okay if you don't have it in you. You don't need to be, all knowing, intelligent, and have these examples at the ready. And if you don't have one, that's okay. Just say you can't even kind of articulate an example yet. You're not at that point in your learning. That's fine.
Very good. Well done.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm sure you can do a bit more.
That's it. I just asked for an example. Could you give me an example?
You're done.
And then the cry, big cry fest.
I would hand exactly what you've just said as an example of somebody who says nothing, whilst making it look like they have a point to make.
All right. So could you lay it out now? Could you lay out
which is
sequence?
Exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just keep on like a globe.
No, you're laying it out for us, no tank.
See what I was saying?
Hank, you're laying it out for us. Literally, you're laying it out for us.
I was saying that Timaeus from Plato. If you listen to it, you will hear exactly what you're doing right now, laid out blatantly as a sophist would. But you've never actually read it or heard it or anything, have you? It was Brenda that gave that to us the other day. But I mean, it wasn't Brenda that let me hear it. It was Brenda that put paper onto it. I'd already listened to it because I'd already heard that this was the play that exposes sophists. It's eye-opening. It's literally eye-opening.
Definitely eye-opening.
Can you give an example, Bev?
Yes, exactly what you just
said.
Oh boy, you can't, Sugar, you got nothing, man. So relax. Like, it's okay if you don't.
I'm sorry, I said I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Maybe Bev can do it. Now, if he can't do it, it doesn't mean that he's less of a man or anything. But can you create for us maybe an example?
Are you talking to me,
Bev?
Or are you talking to Bev?
No, I specifically said Bev. Yeah. So it's a bit. You don't have.
Why are you talking about him in third person? Then that's weird. Okay. Anyway, sorry for interrupting you.
You just pay attention, right, and stop interjecting. Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize.
Sure. So say whatever you want and then apologize at any point. Gotcha. So maybe Bev, you can.
I'm actually coming from a genuine point of view on that. Yeah, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Now, it's not like a challenge, Bev. It's not like, hey, if you don't meet this challenge, you lose or anything like that. But maybe you could lay out like a simple example of what you're speaking on of this argument, and instead of pointing to me or Sugar Cookie as the example, just lay it out.
You know what a sophist is?
Could you lay out an example?
Sophist, yeah, sure. It's somebody that makes up shit in a conversation. Just keeps on making shit up. Shit after shit after shit. That's what a sophist does.
Now, could you
self-proclaimed, by the way?
Now, could you give me an example? I mean,
that was a pretty good definition of a sophist there, Essie. Like a modern day sophist, right? You know, not like a true sophist that plays about with arguments and tricks people. No, the modern day sophist.
The Discord sophist.
Yeah. Sophist. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the globe mind sophist.
So, like, does there already have to be something being discussed for this to take place, or can it just start from nowhere?
Yeah, you can just make up shit from anywhere. You can interrupt a conversation and just start making shit up. Obviously.
Yeah.
But can you begin? Is it possible to begin one this way?
To begin what? Making shit up?
Can you begin from sophistry?
Yeah, you can just start by concern trolling if you want. You know, it's the easiest way to inject yourself into a conversation. Or you can just interrupt a conversation mid point with nothing.
Again, that's an example of joining in to something. But can you, from the beginning of the day, nothing being said, begin it? Can you begin with sophistry?
You just did.
You can make any shit up you want. From the beginning, from the side, from the middle. Actually, it's bullshit on the fly.
So it has to already be existing, then you insert sophistry.
So it normally starts off with a question, right? It starts off with a question, and these questions lead to other questions. Now, there's different methods that use questioning people and answering a question with a question, but it always exposes the sophist.
Okay.
It's called the elenchus. And you can spot the diversion when the sophist gets into this, because sophists can't answer questions. Not even with a valid question sometimes. They just have to deflect.
Or non sequitur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So typically a sophist will only pose questions. Is that one telltale?
Is that what you just did?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
I'm asking for clarification.
Yes.
So then that would mean that the conversation has to already exist for the question to be asked.
For the sophist to enter a conversation. Yes, they can't start a conversation because you can't start a conversation on your own, can you? And if you're the sophist, then you can't have a conversation with yourself. You have to inject yourself into another conversation in order to practice the sophistry. It's pretty simple.
So if I see you guys and I say, how you guys doing, right? Is that starting with a question, and I didn't make a statement? That would be, now we can begin it has to begin with a question. All right, I guess so. I guess the starting point.
So let's try that. So let's go through that then. So what's your question?
How you guys doing?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. And then, what's your definition of fine? Right? Would this be like, then now I'm going into sophistry?
No, it's just you're going into ridiculousness.
What's the
I
point?
was just looking for an example.
Do you have a point to, like the direction that you're wanting to take the conversation? Or are we just going to end up talking about the price of fish and the weather for the last week?
Right.
I mean, what's
No, no.
what's
I
the
only,
point of the
I only,
conversation? Why are you interjecting into a conversation?
I wanted I
Yeah.
wanted an example of. I just was asking if you had
Yeah,
an
so
example
I
of
said,
it.
so the example is, you said, hey, how are you doing? I said,
Right.
fine, thank you. And you said, give me the definition of fine. That's weird. Why would you, what the fuck is that?
Well, that was my second answer. I said I'm fine. I guess a sophist would say, okay, then, well, what do you consider fine?
How do you know what a sophist would say?
I'm asking you, is that what a sophist would say? They'd have to keep on doing. I
That,
mean, Bev
dude, that's
stated
what
earlier, they have
you
to do
said.
something. All right, well, here, let's start over.
You
Right?
said
I can have
it.
an honest conversation.
All
Do
Right?
right,
you remember
Right?
that
So,
you
say
said it,
it
and then
again.
you said a sophist would say it?
right. I'm
Yeah,
trying to play the
Yeah.
part of a sophist, right?
do it
According to
again.
the.
No, how about just play the part of a, okay, whatever, play whatever. I don't care. Ask me another question. Anybody another question.
Well, I mean, we can go to how you doing, right? I mean, am I going to play regular? Or I'm trying to figure out what this.
Fine.
An example.
You just be
I'm
you.
doing
There's no
fine,
role
thank you.
playing needed in this server, right? You don't have to role
Yeah.
play anything. You're trying to find out about something, about sophistry.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that, or are you expressing your sophistry right now? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, he just likes
Well,
to come in here and ask rhetorical questions. That's all
Yeah.
he does. That's all he
not at
does.
all. Not a
No,
rhetorical. I'm
that's
asking for a
exactly
direct
what you do.
example. A
So
direct
I've
example.
Fine.
noticed, I've noticed either you really need attention from a group of people, and it could be us, it could be another group, whatever, or you come in with rhetorical questions. That's pretty much what you do, No Tank.
Give me an example of one rhetorical question.
You are the example, dude. You have
Oh
been the
boy, oh boy.
example.
Such a
Yeah,
Glover
oh boy, oh
response.
boy. Try to wrap your mind around that. Try
Such a
to.
Glover
Just,
response.
right, yeah. I'm a total Glover, dude. Yeah,
That's a
total
Glover
Okay,
Glover.
so
response.
fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm liking this because this, as we said, SE said, what we're talking about is the modern globe Discord sophist, the one that just literally talks shit about nothing. And that is like, yeah, Kev's got it right. That's you, No Tanks. You are the example.
With the pulse.
Yeah, so you stated
Congratulations.
earlier that a sophist would have to ask questions, right? Only questions, not make statements.
No.
Hey,
Oh, is
let's
that
test
not
it
all right?
out. What topic did you come here to talk about today?
Well, I was listening in on Bev and Cookie going over I guess how the rhetoric
What
and
question did
That's
sophistry.
not
you
what
have?
I asked
You
you.
didn't ask. What
Well, let me
question
give
did
you a
you
little.
have?
Let me fill you in, Esty, since you just got here. So Bev and Sugar Cookie were going over,
Rhetoric, right here.
Oh,
Rhetoric.
you think
Listen in,
rhetoric.
this
everybody.
shit's
This is
gonna work
rhetoric.
with me?
Listen.
Seriously. I asked
There's
you a
nothing
certain
to.
question. I asked you what topic, when you came in here, what topic did you have on your mind? Like when I go into Geo, sometimes I think, I'm gonna bring up the Big Bang today. Something like that. When you came in here, you came in here to Bev's today, right? Let's call it Bev's. What
Yeah,
topic did you think you were gonna bring up?
for the
Whatever
second
topic you
time.
guys are on. Yeah, whatever topic you guys are on. I have no issue. I have nothing to bring myself. No.
Exactly.
Oh, is that okay? Does
There's
that
my
prove
point,
something?
exactly.
Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah, you came in here, right, without a topic in mind, just like that, like you always do. Never have
Yeah, but
anything particular to discuss. Just come in and maybe stir the shit. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. I could be wrong.
so
Not
when you come into
necessarily a
I'll
bad
come
thing,
in.
though.
Oh, go ahead.
Typical No Tank.
Honestly, SE.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whatever day
Continue with.
ends in Y, No Tanks wants the attention, and he wants to come in with his bullshit rhetorical question.
Bro, you
Yeah,
could
that's
have just
you. That's you, No Tanks.
whoever
You got it,
had it on
dude.
the table could have just easily given an example of rhetoric, and we could be on. But you don't have it. That's you're in a position of weakness. You don't have it. So now you're putting the attention on me to get it off of you that you don't have an example of what you're talking about. That's okay.
We're
No,
just
that's
giving you
the
what you
thing
want. You
you
want the
don't understand.
attention, right? You want the attention. We're giving you your attention. Here you go. On a silver
Mm,
platter, right here.
Again, that's another straw man. You're building yourself. Yeah,
You
you
know,
can
I don't
build it and
think
Right.
beat
you
it up all you
understand.
want.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Everybody, time out. The thing is, you are the example, and that's been pointed out before I did. And that's the thing that you're not. It doesn't seem like you're getting that.
Yeah, I'm not getting. So you can continue to like have a consensus, right, and say, oh well, you are the example, but and you still can't define the points. You still can't do it.
Tell me what your point is.
What makes me the example? Show me where in the conversation you come. Point it out. Point out what you know this in this rhetoric that you've learned and you understand fully and are able to point out these things. Go ahead and point them all out and line them all up and make it make sense. That's all. That's all you're asked to do, and it seems super difficult. Hey,
So I'm sorry. Somebody else can answer. Okay, so
we've explained it clearly several times. I think there's quite a few of us that have explained it clearly.
no, not at all.
You're just the one that doesn't get it, dude. As per usual.
You can't even explain it to yourself, man. It's fine. I mean, run back the tape. You're going to
and I'm a global.
right.
I will give you a direct example if that's what you would like. We started off by, okay, we're talking about the difference between sophistry and rhetoric and those topics. And you said, okay, well, how about I ask you a question? You asked me a question, hey, how are you? I said, fine, thanks. And then you specifically, when it's like, what's your definition of fine?
Right. That was, yeah, right. To try to define.
This is a timeline part of it, you know? Like, so that is an example of what the fuck kind of conversation is that?
Yeah, that was so far. The only example you have is the one I gave. Do you have your own example?
What? I'm sorry. How many examples would you like?
So I asked you, hey, can you give me an example? And your example is how I'm able.
You specifically.
Is how, and then your example is how I'm the only one who's
don't,
able to.
Don't get angry.
Right.
It's okay. Try and keep this calm.
Yeah,
keep calm.
Well, Sugar doesn't know how to stop talking. He doesn't know how to like let the conversation go, right? But so I asked you for an example, right? And then your only example was Tanks laid out a pretty good example. Why don't you just ask him? Like, what the fuck? Lay out an example, Cookie. Come on.
I just did, and this is an example of you.
I just did. Get your own.
Hang on, you're interrupting me now. Are you willing to shut the fuck up while I give you your example back to you?
I've been on the mute. I put mute on like well before you asked that question. Go ahead, man. I got my kid here, so I'm putting it on mute.
So you asked for an example. I gave you one. And then you continued to say that that's not a great example. I need another example. And so that further is another example of you just arguing about fucking nothing.
Yeah, that was you're pointing out my example. I said this is my understanding of sophistry, right? This is my understanding of it, right? You would say, hey, how you doing? I'd say, and you say fine. I'd say, oh, how do you define what is fine really? Yeah. This is my example. Do you have an example? And you said, yeah. Tanks gave you an example. What's your example? I'm just asking. Can you give me an example?
You don't understand the loop you're in, do you?
Ooh, I just laid out the.
It seems to me like you're just arguing to argue. I mean, if you want to have a conversation, then let's have a conversation. This is not a conversation. This is again an example of the sophistry and bullshit that we're talking about. And it's coming directly from you as the example you're asking for. Do you not understand that?
This is one of the tactics where they go quiet and say, "Oh, I'm swapping my mic to a." But he has got his kid there, and you don't want to hear that angry stuff in front of his kids. That wouldn't be good.
Was I being angry?
No, not you. Like, he was getting angry a bit earlier, and he said his kid's there, so you definitely don't want to be showing that. You don't want to be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a good example to be going on.
Examples of examples. Never-ending loop of examples.
It is interesting, though, right? That in all of the time that we've been here, trying to just talk to people and communicate, there is a group of people that don't want to talk about a subject, so they'll do anything to not talk about things, to not actually have to formulate an argument.
Yeah, and I couldn't get why, and I'm not trying to build a straw man. This is my perspective. When calling a straw man, it's like, nah, that not really a straw man. It's exactly the words that were said. So I don't get it. Am I the only one? I mean, I don't want to go into the consensus part of what he was talking about.
Yeah, you do. You got to recognize your own. I would just suggest recognize your own. First, build the straw man. You can't.
It's a bad connection.
Want to be doing that.
It's a bad connection.
Sorry.
I'm saying I am not trying to build a straw man, and you're building a straw man on me saying I'm not building a straw man. You're claiming I am.
No, I said
somehow.
I was saying just recognize that. If I broke up, I might have broke up like that. Pointed out. I would say just recognize those things that you may be building a straw man, then reverting to consensus. Right? It's like a pattern that you.
That's what
maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, it's like a pattern. Yeah.
There's a possibility he isn't, and he's hitting the nail right on the head and seeing pure sophistry.
And I am specifically saying because I stopped myself by saying, "Am I the only one?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to go to the consensus part." I specifically stopped myself from doing that, and nobody answered. So,
that was good. You recognized it.
Yeah, you can't catch me on that. You know what I mean? Even though you're trying to catch me on that.
Yeah, I mean, do you also recognize the possibility that you are not actually having an argument and being full-on modern sophist?
Not a chance. He's not a chance. He's not going to pick up on that at all. Not a chance.
Yeah. So the point of the conversation is trying to identify arguments, right? Just any old argument doesn't have to be a certain subject, right?
Have you had one? Which one have you? Which one have you identified?
And then Bev was pointing out
which argument have you identified?
And then Bev was pointing out earlier, what's more important is
why are you talking about Bev in third person while he's asking you a question?
And then Bev was pointing out earlier that maybe what's more important.
Sophists can't answer questions; they can only ask questions. We went over that
in third person. That doesn't make any sense.
While I'm making a statement, I'm asking a question. That's cute too. Yeah. Oh, just what do you call it? Obfuscation.
It sounds like a robot.
Can I ask you, Tank, for what reason you do come around these parts? Do you come here to you learn quite a bit, or do you come here for aggro, or do you just come here for your entertainment, or do you come to try and make some friends or something?
You guys seem to in this room, right? Yeah, why I come here in this room seem to be the only
one. Don't build any straw man. What you tell us?
Right?
Don't build a straw man.
I'm being careful of the straw, right? So when I come to this room seems to be the only room that has mastered the art of arguing about nothing.
I smell a straw man building.
No, keep sniffing. So this room, so far, is the only one I've noticed to make arguments from thin air, and somehow.
Level is horizontal,
and it's very interesting.
Level is horizontal. That's one of the claims I think we all agree on. What one then?
Just any old, like right now. Here's an example, right? Argument from nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Seems to be the
asking
only
you.
room out there. The only
You're
discord
saying
out
that
there,
we don't have any.
and it's
You're saying that we've got
very
nothing
interesting.
here, but we've
No,
got
you have things that you
proof
don't go
that
to.
level is horizontal, and
Right.
we've
So if
got
you let,
geometric proofs that back it
spot
in
on.
reality
If you allow,
with
yeah,
water
so
level.
spot on. If you had allowed me to make my original statement, which was Bev was going on earlier, trying to weigh which one's more important, the facts of the argument or the rhetoric, because you can't get the facts across, level is horizontal, without the rhetoric. So I could simply just show people, right? Look, level is horizontal, done. Is that what's going to convince them, or is the rhetoric more important? And then it seemed that he concluded that the rhetoric is much more important than the facts. So it was interesting.
Okay, so I'm going to hold you to back your claim out of
Wait a
arguments
minute.
out
Wait a
of
minute. He
air.
did just say that he concluded something that I concluded that I didn't actually conclude.
Right. But that's a totally different.
Okay, so
yes.
there again, there's
Let's talk
another
about that.
example of how people use sophistry in like that was just a blatant lie to divert from a conversation, obviously.
Yep.
While at the same time claiming people in this server make arguments out of thin air without giving examples, 1, 2, 3 bullet points, like you were asking for evidence of that earlier, without that, and then glazing over that, and then doing the exact thing, same thing that I just pointed out.
For me, what's more important, the rhetoric or the proof?
So wait, you're not going to clarify?
Joe Cookie, hold on a second. Let's not overlook
well, hang
what he
on.
just.
I have to point out the fact that he's not answering the question of, or the claim of, arguments out of thin air.
I'd also like to point out that he still has not answered Spot On's question. He still has yet to answer Spot On's question.
Organize your guys' questions. Go ahead.
No,
Dude, you're all over
Spot On already gave you a direct question to you. He asked you. He directed it directly towards you, No Tanks, and you still haven't answered.
If you could ask it again, then Spot On.
What's the reason? What is the reason why you come to these parts? You know, what is it that inspires you to come here?
I already gave that answer.
Go on. Something about nothing or something? Go on, explain that again, please.
That was the answer. Do you want me to elaborate on the answer? Because you're
yeah.
obviously admitting that I gave the answer already that I was claimed that I didn't give. But I did give the answer.
Well, I don't know. I didn't say he didn't give you the answer. I'm asking you what the answer was because I didn't think it was clear enough for me. You know, that's all. I just wondered because people come and like I'm up for having a chat, but it'd just be nice to hear what you say. What's your answer, please?
Yeah, so the same. You want me to give the same answer or a different answer? The first answer wasn't good enough.
Could you like elaborate a little bit on it rather than just saying, you know, what you said? Why are you here? Can you just say why
giving a non-answer? Like the non-argument, giving a non-answer.
Well, I gave an answer, but you want
I need to give an example because once again you have
hang on.
As the
okay. All right. So we came in.
We're not going to get his answer. You don't just stop for a second and listen to what he's got to say. Come on, just let him just answer it, please.
Well, I mean, I can't. You know, we got to clarify. Did I give an answer? Apparently, I didn't.
What was your answer?
Well, I didn't really think it was a complete answer, my opinion. But that's what I'm asking you. Could you elaborate?
Yeah, I come. Why I come into
why
this room
why do you come around here?
Yeah, this room because this room specifically has a different I guess a different conversation going on.
So it's like testing. You know, sort of come in here and then, you know, maybe strike up something. Because I'm not saying, I think just about almost every time you've been in there, it's got to this point where we get to now. Whereas this is the first time I ask you really, you know, why you're here. And if it is because of that, you come here because you enjoy it, the sophistry, I can hear Bev. So, I mean, if that is why you come here, then that's fine. But if you're searching for something, then that's, you know, it'd be interesting to know if that is why you're here as well.
So
you know,
he comes here to practice his sophistry. He comes here particularly because he knows we have an argument, and he has none. That's why he comes to test himself.
Yeah, I find that very I don't know, projection and I guess, while saying arguments. The server here has arguments out of thin air when it's exactly what you're doing.
You did hear my answer. Okay.
Creating arguments out of thin air. I don't even know what the fuck your arguments are. I don't even know what your point is. I don't even.
Yeah. So I was listening in. You guys were giving these. It seemed like, Bev, you can correct me. Maybe I'm wrong. It seemed like he came to like this conclusion because he didn't go on with the geometric proofs or anything. He went on with a conversation on how to identify and kind of copy back the rhetoric, right? So it seemed once he went from, hey, what's more important, the geometric proof or the rhetoric? Then he gave reasons on why the geometric proof will not land on the human mind unless you develop a certain kind of rhetoric, right? And so
that's
then he went on with the rhetoric.
What you just did right now is sophistry.
It's straw man.
Yeah, you're just making shit up, man. That's what happens in your head. It's nothing what I said or anything. You're just making shit up. Yeah.
Well, so maybe there needs to just be some clarification.
Like maybe when I said correct me if I'm wrong, like
this is the part, right, that we need to talk about, right? This is the part where I was talking about the rhetoric. Because obviously we was talking earlier about a group of people that can't even see an argument because it does strange things to the mind. And you've skirted around it there and made something up of your own around about that sort of argument, but not being able to actually access the argument. Now, I'm making tea. I'm doing stuff around the house. It's Saturday day. I can't work out why somebody's round here wanting to practice sophistry like you are. We were having a good conversation. Pretty good.
About what?
I think that there is a
what
part
was the conversation about? Maybe I missed it. Cue me in. Was it about something else?
No takes.
Classic
One
no
second.
Classic.
One sec. While I have this in my head still, I think part of it is that you prefaced it with "correct me if I'm wrong," and then, in my opinion, started to build I consider a straw man or your opinion. Let's just call it that, about something that isn't quite accurate. You know what I mean? So
I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I did. Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying
he still did not correct me. Yeah.
But hang on one sec. By prefacing it with "correct me if I'm wrong" doesn't give you immunity for everything you say after that.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I said, correct me if I'm wrong, right? And then I said, okay, then what was the conversation about? And now that's the answer I'm waiting for.
But it's the same thing as like if you were, I don't know, I'm just imagining this. Like,
I mean, you could just tell me what the conversation was about.
So it's the same kind of an example. And like I said, I'm imagining this. I've never been in the military, but if a private were to say, like, to a general, something like, and I'm not trying to equate, don't get me wrong. It's like, with all due respect, sir, you're an asshole. Like, that doesn't give you immunity because you said with all due respect.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's not that's not at all what was said. So.
That's kind of, I know it's kind of an odd analogy. Yeah, I agree. But by prefacing it with "correct me if I'm wrong,"
claiming I built a straw man, right? Claiming I'm building a straw man. I'm saying correct me if
it's an inaccurate. Yeah, it's an inaccuracy, and I think that might be what needs to be cleared up. Your perception of whatever it is.
Well, then what was the topic that you guys were having such a good conversation about that I completely railroaded with talking about rhetoric and sophistry? What were you guys talking about?
Well, no. Well, what I'm concerned about is the part after you said, correct me if I'm wrong, because that actually went into some of the topics and conversations about arguments that are, like on topic of level is horizontal, geometric, whatever it is. But so it sounds like you need clarification along the way.
It seems like we need, you got to get recentered back on topic. So I gave the example, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like Bev was putting forward the idea, right? That geometric proofs are one thing, but you need the rhetoric. It's required in order to convince minds, right? And then some sort of talk went on, and I said, give me an example. What was the conversation that I interrupted? What was the
I'm
topic
sorry,
of conversation?
I'm interrupting, but when you say right, that gives somebody the right to interrupt. So when you're talking to somebody and you make a statement and you say right, that's when you're going to get interrupted. So because somebody's going to say, wait, no, it is secondhand. That's not quite right.
All right. Are they ever going to say what's not quite right about it, or are they just going to say no?
Well, maybe, but if you keep going, you're going to claim you're being interrupted while you're not realizing the fact that you asked, is that right, what I just said? You know what I'm saying?
I guess we can go bit by bit, but I'm just going to like sum it up for anybody who's listening in, like SD and Spot On, who weren't aware of, I guess, what was going on, right? It seemed. Yeah,
well, there you go. Well, is that right? I don't know. Is that right? But that's part of your speech pattern, and I get it. A lot of people do that, but you have to be conscious of it. If you're questioning somebody's argument along the way, and your premise, and you're creating a premise, and then you ask right, and then you keep going, that's you're going to get interrupted, just like I did just now.
Did I take like a pause though? Like, right. So anyway, right. So, but then you see what I'm saying, right? But I'm continuing right on. Like, there's no room for you to interject, right? So, right there.
Right. That's the problem. Right. That's the problem.
So you're not picking up on it, right? I get it. You're not picking up on it. Yeah. So therefore, it's my problem. Yeah. I got to change the word right because you're not getting it. Yeah.
Well, it's hey. Maybe you should phrase it something like, "Hey, do you agree on this? Whatever that is." Before we continue on with the rest of whatever the fuck you're gonna say.
All right, so I'm gonna spew out the whole. I'm gonna spew out the whole like 30 seconds.
It's not good for conversation. If you ask in the middle of it, if that's right, you know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna just go on like a 30-second, just to kind of a recap here. All right, so
well, it's sort of like you're either asking a question or you're unsure of yourself. Either way, it's a little bit off-putting, like Sugar Cookie says. Like, in order for us to get the rhetoric correct, we should stop entering right in the middle of a conversation. If you mean to carry on, don't ask people or ask yourself if you are correct. Otherwise, people may jump in.
You may, right?
Yeah, that's just asking for being jumped in.
When people in a conversation say the word right, it's typically like a point as a period mark. Like, right, boom. That's one point.
No, it's not. I don't consider it as that. Me personally, no. I always ask, right? At the end of a conversation. Right? Yeah, I'm asking people to confirm that, right?
Yeah. And that's a premise of what you're going to say next. In the context of how you say right, that's the context of what you're going to say next, and you must agree with that, right? And then blah 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 blah, whatever else. You know what I mean? So,
yep. So we all agree, right? That's the point.
I think
moving on.
He's doing exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, this is one of the sophist techniques. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is the sophist technique. Because if you don't,
I think we're overthinking it.
If you don't stop him and say, he will immediately think that you've agreed with the right. You didn't object.
Yes.
So therefore, you agree with it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So it will be.
We had a chance to stop him.
Yeah, it will be called out in here, Tanks. And Sugar Cookie's right. I'm going to carry on making tea, but yeah. Continue to do that sort of thing, Sugar Cookie. Thank you very much. That was a very nicely noted.
Good point. Yeah, it is a good point, Sugar Cookie. That when people say right, they're typically you're right. Yeah, they're typically.
And I mean that as
we all agree on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that as a point of feedback, not to argue with you, but like that's a point of feedback for you.
Yeah, well, for anybody, that's typically, when I'm saying all those things right and then carrying on, it's typically what I'm stating prior to that is something that I feel we can all agree on, and then getting to the point. Yeah. So I felt like we could all agree that Bev was pointing out, right, that there's geometric proof and then there's rhetoric, but it seems to be that the rhetoric is what's required to make your point, not the proof.
Okay, cool.
Say that again. Wait, say that again.
He's already formed his own conclusion. That's great.
And if I'm
Right.
not correct,
yeah.
you can,
You've
yeah. If I'm
you've
not correct,
formulated
you
that
already,
conclusion completely wrong.
Yeah.
Because
And
the
then
proof
so
is irrelevant to
yeah.
anything. The proof is separate. It's on its own. The
right.
conversational part is all about the rhetoric, how you can talk to people.
How you can
Yes.
convince them, yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's a point of clarification that I was trying to get at.
Yeah, so it's a separate thing, right? So the proof is one thing, but you need. It seemed like you were formulating I guess, a formula, right? That you need the rhetoric to get the point across. So the proof, is one thing, and now you need to form the rhetoric.
Well, I agree with you in a sense, but when you look at it like in the trivium, if you're familiar with that, and I'm repeating this out loud so that I understand it more myself. But there's three things that go with that, and it starts from when you're a kid to growing up, and it used to be taught all the time. It's grammar and the words you use to make sentences, and it sounds ridiculous, but go with me on this, okay? Grammar and how to use punctuation and words, and then there's logic, meaning you formulate those words and sentences into something that makes sense. And then there's the rhetoric, which allows you to have presentation skills of the sentences that you formed with the grammar. You know what I mean? So it all builds on itself, and it ends to rhetoric basically so you can make a presentation with words that make sense logically. So I think what you're saying is yes, but I think that those are some steps that are kind of getting skipped over with, I think, what you're saying maybe. Does that make sense?
Maybe getting skipped over, sure, yeah. So I'm just trying to draw it back to someone in here, some people in here, claiming that I'm bringing things completely off topic, which right. But the topic of discussion was rhetoric and sophistry. Yeah.
Right, but so here's the thing: I think in general we're coming at it with that kind of a structure, but when you are saying things, it sounds to like, for me, I'm just going to talk for myself. It sounds to me like you're just jumbling a bunch of shit around and it doesn't follow. You know what I mean? Like there's words and grammar that doesn't go with the logic, and you're presenting it in an oddball way, and it's all jumbled together. So like what you're trying to say, to me, my opinion is you should figure out what you're going to say in the words and then in the sentences, and then logically form that and then present it, rather than presenting words like in a logic. I mean, you're coming from a point of view that you think is logical, but you're not presenting it in the right way, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
That's why.
if you could give the, I can just take it. I'll just take it what you're saying, but no, I don't. You don't have the example in front of you, but really, all I had asked was, can you give me an example? That was it.
But do you understand what I'm saying when you're saying things? Do you understand that? Like, it comes across to me specifically. Like I said, I'm not going to talk for everybody, but it's like when you say things, it's all jumbled up to me. It's like blah 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 blah. And maybe it's me because I don't understand your structuring of how you're presenting stuff in general, not like just with a simple question, like what you were say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if somebody gets lost in the conversation, sure. Yeah, I mean, if something isn't being articulated well enough, yeah, that happens. Yeah, sure. I
Right.
can
So
understand how that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So
Yeah,
that's
I
my
just don't
point
see
of
how
view.
that happened. Yeah, I don't see how that happened with me in that situation. No, I don't see it.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
okay.
It's a very
I'm sure
authoritarian mindset you had there. No tanks. That's awesome, dude. That's good,
No,
dude.
but I mean, it's okay. It's
could you
hard to.
articulate how you? Could you articulate how you came to that conclusion for me? The mindset that I have.
Authoritarian.
Yeah, there you go.
It's hard to do when you figure it out.
You're pointing the finger at everybody else, claiming that they're in the wrong.
No.
I'm just summing it up. I'm just summing it up. I'm making a quick summary here. Quick summary.
Well, be clear. What
being
finger
clear.
did I point? What finger?
Look, just because I can't speak that word for word from what you just said, right? You came in here. You came in here with it. Hold on, my neighbor's cutting his grass.
Tanks, hold up.
When you
I
come
thought
in,
we just gave a lesson on why you should be very clear about your points. He's being super broad, saying I pointed the finger.
Tanks, hold up. You don't ask him which finger. That's ridiculous. Just let him get his point, and then you can rebut it.
Well, it's as ridiculous as calling it a finger, but okay.
Okay.
Exactly.
So go ahead, and then no Tanks, take what he says, and then
no Tanks. He does not do very well with criticism whatsoever, at all. So you can't criticize him. I've noticed being in here.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Don't talk to me.
You're right. I'm sorry. I pulled the no Tanks instead of doing the third person. No Tanks.
The finger that I'm pointing is criticism.
Right. You come in with criticism pretty much every time you're in here. Yeah.
And I'm saying that you guys are. And you guys are. I'm saying you're being the one who's criticizing others. But then
that's very no Tanks of you to do that.
But
that's
hold on.
The type of person you are, right? You come in.
Hold on. Yeah. This isn't a conversation.
It's really not important. I'm sure anybody else that's ever heard no Tanks knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Tanks, hold on. Just hold your tongue.
Handle criticism well is my point. That's my point. And he's once again proving what I'm saying, right? Because he does not handle criticism well. That's just how no Tanks is.
I couldn't hear the last words.
Authoritarian mindset. He comes in, he tells people that they're wrong, that they should be doing things the way he does them, and when they don't, this is how he lashes out.
All right, so you're saying that I criticize. Right?
I think I summed it up pretty well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then if you're done, you're done. If you're done, you're done with no argument. That's fine.
Yeah, I have no argument, man.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Kev. That's your opinion from what you've seen of how no Tanks.
Yep, that's my assessment.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Tanks?
Well, I mean, if it's is it over or is it they're gonna break down the points like Sugar Cookie?
No, he just said that was his general opinion, like of how he's seen your interactions. How does that make you? What does that make you think or anything? Feel? How does that make you feel?
I'd have to break down the points. There was fingers and some other stuff going on. I mean, I'm not gonna go over his feelings. I mean, if he has feelings, it's fine.
You've forgotten it already. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, just let it go. Don't worry. I mean, that's a valid opinion. Yeah. Well done.
It's very authoritarian of you to just wave off everything I said, and you can't even recall one.
I mean, should I wave it off? I mean, it sounds like you wanted me to just.
No, you're already waving it off. You're doing it now. You're waving it off now.
Yeah. Okay. So
do you want me to address it, or did you want me to wave it off?
I've been on mute.
You're focusing on which finger he's pointing at is figurative. Come on.
Right. So what is he? It's being figurative of criticism. Is that that's what I'm at? That was the first point I asked. But
so what? So what do you think? What do you feel? How do you feel? And how do you feel about what he said?
I feel like it isn't complete. Yeah. So he said, "I point the finger." Right. I mean, maybe you could be more clear on it.
No. How did you feel first? Forget about the argument or anything, or the rebuttal to it. How does it make you feel? Yeah.
How does it make me feel? I don't know. Very. I feel like empowered a little bit, like almost
kind
like
of offended.
Like I'm in a position of authority.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Over his feelings. And I control his feelings.
No. We're asking you how you felt about it. He was just
I feel like
saying
I'm in
his
control
opinion.
Of his feelings.
He didn't express a feeling. He just expressed an opinion. But if you read a feeling out of it, I mean, again, notable.
If it was me, if I was in your shoes, I'm imagining this, and I would be like, I would feel kind of offended. That would be the feeling that I would have if I were you.
I feel somehow I feel like I have authority over his feelings, and that makes me feel kind of good.
No, that's
I
not
don't
a
know.
feeling.
Yeah,
That's not a. That's
he
not
didn't
necessarily a
express a
feeling.
feeling. There was no feeling there, Tanks.
I'm feeling pretty strong. I don't know, man.
Feelings
Good.
are
I like
strong.
it. I like it.
What?
He gains
What
power.
feelings? Yeah.
Gaining power.
What's the feeling though?
Strength. All right. So anyway, so he says I'm pointing the
Cool.
fingers. Right?
I
Trying
like
to break
that.
down his thing if you want me to. Unless
Guess you'll be
if
round
you're
here a
angry,
lot. You start
you're gonna
feeling
get the
power
feeling
every time we start pointing out bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna get.
You gotta just grow
You
stronger.
can't self-reflect at all, can you? Is that what you're trying to not do? I'm asking because I've done it myself.
What I'm trying not to do. So at first I tried to address him, and then
No, I mean what you're trying to not do.
Yeah, what I'm trying to not do. So first I tried to address any of his issues. I was told to just let him have his feelings, let him have his words. I let him have his words, but now I'm supposed to address his feelings. I'm not sure.
That's okay.
I mean, do you want your feelings addressed?
Kind of want to punch back, kind of like an ego thing. That's what I would
How
do.
can you address somebody else's feelings?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking. You want me to attempt to address his feelings, or you want me?
No,
to
we were asking
your
you.
feelings.
Yeah,
we wanted to know your feelings. I understood the question
I told you
perfectly,
my
Beth.
feelings.
By the way,
I feel kind of
no problem.
in control of his
okay.
feelings right now.
No, your feelings.
I feel that I'm in control of his feelings and powerful, over his feelings.
Feel powerful because he doesn't like how you approach stuff. You feel powerful.
Did he say he doesn't like it? Did he say he doesn't like it? Maybe he does like it.
You're the one bringing up feelings. You're the one bringing up feelings, no Tank. So did I express that I didn't like it?
I'm not bringing up feelings.
He's imagining your feelings, Kev.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you feel that No Tanks is imagining your feelings?
He doesn't know about my feelings, but
he's trying to put himself in your place, isn't he? To imagine the feelings he's feeling as
Give
you.
me your delicious
I
feelings.
think.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like he feels that he's powerful. He has power over him rather than like a fucking Freud or something. But it's like you're saying the opposite of what's actually true, I think.
Is that how you feel today?
Sugar Cookie, you don't have to be a psychologist or a psychologist to see that there's craziness in the world. So don't put yourself in that position, buddy. Not at all, brother.
Yeah, deal with yourself and your own feelings. You don't want to be trying to place yourself in other people. That would be fucking crazy. You'd end up being like an empath, like Arwen. An oracle empath. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I just want to get a fucking straight answer out of Tanks for once.
You can't.
Oh, what's up?
It's a challenge for him now.
Well, now it's like a game. Yeah, guys are kind of turned into like a game.
Well,
That's what it says. Nobody else. That's what it says.
It's already a game to you, no Tank. It's already a game to you, right?
That's what I was telling Spot On. It's kind of interesting because there's no other place I go where people play these games.
Why are you deflecting?
I don't recall you giving Spot On a direct answer since he was here. I'm pretty sure that's why he left. He asked you a question. He probably wanted his question answered. And you still haven't done it. And then Bev asked you about your feelings, and you start talking about my feelings.
Your feelings won't allow you to accept that answer. You want more answers.
Right.
But do you recognize?
Bev was asking you about your feelings, and then you went.
Yeah. Do you realize
so you
that
haven't really given us the answer.
Tanks, you deflected the Spot On that? Do you recognize that at least?
Oh.
Okay. Even though I just told you did.
He'll be back. He just needs to gather his thoughts.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's weird first.
But yeah, this is a great example of modern day sophistry. 100%.
Oh, you're saying, Rod, you can give an example? Finally? Somebody can give it. I knew somebody could do it. Yeah, give an example. Like lay out, like make one up. Just give out.
This is it. We're actually in the middle of it now. You'll be able to watch this back and go, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you're in an example loop.
Yeah, and yet you still can't lay it out, right? Like it's strange.
Wow.
You're in the middle of it, dude. You can't see it, can you?
That's what the Globers tell me.
It's like forest through the trees, probably, kind of thing.
So yeah, again, like I love for you guys to have like a good conversation, but you seem to thrive more on arguing nothing than actually trying to work, which is just human nature. Like we all procrastinate.
Are we?
It's you, dude.
Are we?
Are you humans? I don't know. I haven't confirmed it. I imagine you're human.
But you asked right in the middle of that again. So.
Well, I'll get used to it. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's how I speak.
Okay, well then.
Hold on. He's drawing his conclusion. Let him finish drawing his conclusion. Go ahead, No Tanks. We're listening. Draw your conclusion. I'll go on mute. Go ahead.
Get used to being interrupted. If you say right in the middle of a fucking sentence.
Well, I don't know. I guess keep your ears perked and ready to go to prove a point, and instead of allowing the conversation to progress, I guess.
Yes, I am intently listening. Yes.
Right. Are you listening to the word right or all the words? Is it just like you got like a right radar go off?
Oh, I'm listening to all of them. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So then you heard the words after it.
I hear nothing after that. All I hear is blah 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 in my mind. No, I'm listening to you ramble with a premise that has not been.
You didn't even catch it. I started that last sentence off with the word right, and you didn't even stop me. You're fucking up, man.
I'm fucking up.
Right, because you're not even listening. See, I did it again. You're fucking up, man. Get me.
Okay, sorry. Can you tell me how to not fuck up?
Right, so I'm going to tell you how not to fuck up. You ready?
Yep.
You fucked up already. It's too late. You missed it again. That's like 4 rights in a row.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right. Right. So when I start off a sentence, you did it again, man. Can somebody help this guy out? He's got to stop me anytime I say right, and he's missed like 4 or 5 in a row.
This is great comedy, bro. I'm loving it.
Thanks,
Keep going.
man.
Yeah,
Great.
that's how silly his point is. Yeah. If I say the word right, then he needs this. Then everything needs to stop. Yeah.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point here. I think it's not when you say the word right. It's that I'm intently listening to. It's the premise that you are automatically assuming I'm agreeing with, and then you say right. It's not when you start the fucking sentence off because there's nothing there. There's nothing to agree with when you say right at the beginning. I'm not listening to a keyword. I'm listening to a context of what the fuck you're saying.
Oh, good. That's good to know. So you're not going to call out the word right anymore. That's good to know.
No, I didn't say that.
Wow, is it going to be like this talking to everyone new that comes in? Do you reckon? Do you reckon they're all like you out there, Tanks? Or do you reckon there might be some people that can just normally have a conversation without having to go through all of these? I don't know. Like I call it ridiculous semantic sort of things without understanding context or anything.
Well, I told him.
Lev, would you agree? I wouldn't mind if No Tanks were to come up with some sort of presentation. He came on the show and did a presentation about it.
Yeah, they sound good. Yeah.
Of how things should be handled. I think that would be awesome. No Tanks, you get your attention, all that stuff. You can get it all, get 2 birds stoned at once. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds good. That's all we're about. You could show us your rhetoric.
Yeah, I probably should write it up for you guys.
See if you can throw an argument in or one.
Yeah, you could just so that's what I was asking. What was your formula, right? Like you could insert argument here with this formula, and
hold on. Don't give too much away. Save it for your presentation.
I see how it works. I'm sitting here and watching.
See how what works? A presentation? Yeah, you formula.
What formula are you looking for?
Concepts that you have.
When I say give me an example.
What formula are you looking for?
Well, it seemed like Bev and Sugar Cookie were coming up with some sort of rhetoric formula, right? And how to detect sophistry, et cetera, et cetera. I said, all right, can we get an example? And now we're here.
Yeah. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. We were talking about sophistry and how it's changed from old school to modern day. And we were looking for an example, and then you came. You'll just have to read that Timaeus. Really, you'll be surprised at it. I don't know which side you're going to take. I suppose it'd be a bit of a battle in your mind. Which guys you think? Like you might come out of it going, fucking hell, that Socrates got smashed. Maybe. I mean, who knows?
Like Tanks, I'm coming at this from a genuine like learning perspective, and my opinions are genuine. I'm not trying to win a battle of any kind. Just so you know.
Well, maybe not in the moment. No. And just so you know, I mean, I guess we could say like how each other knows things, right? But so just so you know, when I ask a question, right, or say, hey, can you give me an example? That's not. I'm not like testing your dick size, man. If you don't have an example, you don't have an example. It doesn't mean you're less than a man if you can't do it yet. Yeah.
But I gave you an example, and the example was you. And I gave you another example, and that was you. Do you want an example that's not you?
There we go. Yeah, just make up a conversation and give me an example of what you think you know in regards to rhetoric and sophistry.
Do you know Zanuck?
Yeah.
I know Zanuck, but right.
There you go. Well, there you go. There's another one. Have you ever met Lemon?
Yeah, I like Lemon.
There you go. There's another one. What about
that has strong
sort of on a different sort of level? Brian Leakey, have you ever met him?
Wow. So does Brian have strong rhetoric or strong sophistry and the other?
He has rhetoric.
Uh-oh.
Built on
what? Exactly.
I'm asking you. Built on what?
Yeah, exactly. Just rhetoric. You know.
Well, you had to build it on something.
With no grammar or logic to present that rhetoric. See where that follows there?
Well, I see I mean, you're in your formula. You first need grammar, then logic in your formula.
The main part of the grammar, which Sugar Cookie missed earlier on, is the definition, the identity of the thing that you're talking about. That's what's the most important thing about the grammar, is defining the thing that you're talking about precisely. That's where mainly the sophist fails, because they can't answer questions about the thing they're talking about. They like to leave it vague and open.
And I'm still learning about those three things myself.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're an expert on it. No. And again, so that's all. I mean, that's what I say. In this room, it seems to turn nothing into some big argument, but doesn't seem to happen.
Get your presentation. Yeah, get your presentation together. Right? Don't yawn. Yeah, get it together, dude.
This is good. This is good, though, because
this is how you defeated
that was just
Gordon, also, right? This is how he was also defeated.
Yeah. That was just the rhetoric part. From my perspective, what you just said was just the rhetoric part.
Yeah. Which part? The yawn?
The arguments, something from nothing.
Yeah.
To me, that's just the rhetoric part without the logic or the grammar that goes along with it. You're having a presentation of, in my view, of making a claim like that. To me, that claim is a presentation without the logic or the grammar that backs it up. So you just went straight to presentation with a claim without anything. That's my perspective.
Then that my presentation is complete?
No, you skipped all the way just to presentation without putting anything behind it.
Yeah, well, I mean, so it's like, I mean, I was the one asking for I guess so now I'm now having to get it for you guys somehow, but I asked for the example, right? So I guess Bev brought up, you see, you could use Xanax, right? An example would be this, or I mean, it's just that person, the whole person is the example. I mean, everything they say is the example, or is it one specific argument that Lemon makes, or one specific argument that Leaky makes? I mean, all of his arguments. I mean,
Yeah, it was an in to me. I mean, I'll let Bev answer, but to me, it was just an in general thing.
yeah, it was too general. Yeah, it was very general. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It was way too general. Yeah. Yeah. So
But you said that you have heard those people talk.
I have. Yeah. I mean, I've heard Lemon speak about God. I've heard Lemon speak about the horizon. I mean, are they the same thing? I don't think so. I've heard Brian Leakey speak about the ISS. I've heard him speak about the sun. Are they the same thing? I mean, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, no sweat. Like I listen in most of the time, So I don't speak it most of the time, especially when it's on recording. Like so, there's this I don't know, imaginary like narrative out there that No Tanks wants all the attention. He wants to be recorded, but I was told that Saturday is not recorded before 3 p.m. is not recorded. Right? So that's just what I was told.
Who told you that?
Fucker named Bev.
When did I say that?
Well, the
Or do
last
you mean
time he
somebody
said,
else?
no, you.
I've never said that we don't record.
Shows, record. I mean, maybe the exact word wasn't used. Maybe I misunderstood it, right?
Yeah,
But
maybe you did. Maybe you completely misunderstood something.
Then sometimes life just isn't fair, things just kind of change. It can happen. I mean, that's kind of how reality
yeah,
works.
you mean you can
Crazy.
change it? It can be 2 p.m. and it's
Yeah, bro, that's exactly what I meant, dude.
is
Yes,
it?
exact, dude. You're spot on, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm No Tank.
I think I can hit this button here at any time for record.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons that I have it. To record interesting
your
conversations.
Your logic is that you make a schedule just so you can break it. Like rules are made to be broken. That kind of like mindset.
No, there's a live show.
Uh,
There's also conversations that we have. Stuff about recording stuff on the internet just so people don't misrepresent what you say. All of that sort of stuff. Because there are a lot of people who misrepresent stuff that other people say, isn't there? So it's always wise to have some sort of recording in case somebody were to go away and sort of make up a load of shit and talk to other people about things and wind people up talking shit.
yeah, like I mean, we're not recorded right now, right?
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, you are. I was going to ask you a question.
Go on, off you go.
Like leave, or you
I'm
mean
doing
ask
the
a
washing
question?
up. Yeah, it doesn't make any
Which one?
difference whether we're recording or not. There's no difference around here. Everybody else knows that. Is there something you don't want recording?
Well, no, you don't maybe want. Yeah, so like last time you got mad because I asked how's your family doing, and it was being recorded.
No Tanks, it was explicitly stated earlier. Assume you're being recorded all the time on Discord or whatever. It was explicitly said earlier. Why would you say that? Why would you say the opposite of that? Or assume the opposite of that? Doesn't make any sense to me.
No. So why would I assume that it's ever not? Why? So it's always being recorded at all times. It's always live recording.
Assume it. Have the mindset to think that it could possibly be recorded.
Okay, and then
Is that pretty clear?
That
Is
means
that clear?
think before you speak.
Is that clear? Or do I need to give another example?
Clear, right? So then when I ask, hey,
You're a
are you
slow learner.
recording now? Then I should just assume instead of ask. Just assume. Silly. You guys just make silly arguments.
Mm.
But it's a great practice to think before you speak. That's what you need to take away from that.
Is that what you're saying about live? Is that what it means, or does it mean I'm pressing a live button?
Wonderful question.
Right. I mean, yeah. So I mean, you conflate these things to mean the same thing. Somehow, hitting a live button with your mouse on the computer means the same thing as think before you speak.
Mm.
And then you think you made some grand point. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of see why Rad doesn't show up in like Geos or Gems to try to debate these other guys. Who I mean,
I
they're
wouldn't
awful
stand a
too.
chance,
Don't
dude.
get me wrong, they're awful
God.
as well.
Yeah. A
But
Glober like
they're
me, dude, I
horrible.
wouldn't stand a chance.
So when
I
somebody
see why the logic
says,
isn't working out there and out of the room, out of the
Mhm.
level room.
so when you say stupid shit,
Oh, okay. Do I hit the
you
live button?
might want to think before you speak. Just in general, like a rule of life. I mean, really.
What fun is that?
Tell us, what fun is that? No?
Be better.
You can say
You
all the
gotta get
stupid
better.
shit you want. Don't get me wrong. Say all the stupid shit you want. Do you think it's any different over at Geo's?
Giving us an idea, Tanks. I think we should do a thing about modern day sophists. I
Yes,
think
absolutely.
this is good conversation. That we should go over this sort of stuff.
I'd
Right.
like to see a presentation done by
examples.
No Tanks and Bev, y'all doing a presentation on Modern Day Sophist in one show. That would be amazing. That would be awesome.
I'd like to see No Rad with some fucking hair. You have hair under that hat or what?
I'm bald, dude. That's a wig. If you kind of zoom in, you can see it's really a wig. Great question.
He's got his head upside down, really. That's what it
I want
is.
to see
I'm in
No Rad with
Australia. I'm in Australia on the globe.
What else do I want to see? I just say things I want to see, and they must be done.
Very authoritarian.
Right? Yeah. Like what is it that you wanted to see again?
What was
What
that?
is it that you wanted to see again? You wanted to see something. You said earlier.
I don't know. What did I say? Did you pay attention? Were you listening when you and I were conversing?
The no argument. Continue. Just something from nothing. Continue. I know you're well practiced in this room. That was like what Bev
This is
pointed out
good.
earlier. How
like
you can't give a straight answer. It's always a question. Go ahead. Continue.
It's mind-boggling. If you could listen to yourself, you should.
Projection. Yeah, absolute projection. Yeah. You should all
kind of goes back
look
to
at
that criticism thing I was referring to earlier.
You should all look at yourselves and realize that what you're projecting onto me is exactly what you guys do. And it's through consensus that you love to reach out for. Through consensus along all other discourse and anybody who knows anything about you, you'll find the consensus is true. Yeah. They all agree.
Not talking about consistency.
Like how do you feel since we're talking about
Hold on, Sugar Cookie. No Tanks is leading the show. Go ahead. No Tanks, go.
Yeah. So since we're talking, I couldn't really hear Sugar Cookie. Go ahead. Were you talking? Or you were breaking up earlier.
Don't worry. Keep going, dude. Keep going.
Hey, who put you in a place of authority to say so?
No,
Sugar
you're
Cookie?
the authority. No. I said everybody shut up and
No.
listen to you.
I'll tell you when I'm the authority. You don't tell me.
No, Tanks, what are you doing?
All right,
This
I just want to make
is
sure your mic
this
was
is his
working.
comedy routine. This is his cute little comedy routine. Go ahead, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was funny.
yeah.
Go ahead.
He's telling me to basically shut up so you can have the floor, and that's what you do with it?
I wanted to hear if your mic was working. I couldn't hear you earlier. It was breaking up. Now it's good. I want to make sure all my little
Okay,
birds
so
are
what
doing all
were
right.
you? So anyway, what were you saying?
He doesn't remember. He really doesn't.
All right, go ahead in. All right.
The floor is yours, no Tanks.
Yeah, I think you guys should take a look at yourselves, right, and realize the consensus is out, right? Like it's out, it's in, it's been received from this on the level
It's out.
room.
It's in. Okay.
Yeah, it's been received. It's we put it out there. Everybody's gotten to take a vote, and
And
the
in there.
consensus is, that what you're projecting me to be is kind of what this room has become. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe think before you speak. Just in every walk of life, it's a good lesson. And just imagine you're always on, live, like somebody's listening into the horse shit that goes on in here.
Can I speak now?
Not yet. Sugar Cookie, do you have anything to say?
So to sum it up, no Tanks basically
No.
takes whatever we say about him and then just projects it back onto us.
Sugar
If
Cookie, do
anybody's
you
been
have
paying
anything to
attention.
say? Are you taking away my authority? How'd you do that? Sugar Cookie, you have anything to say?
The floor is yours, no Tanks. That's the
All right,
last
go ahead,
thing I
Rad.
said. And why would you ask me anything otherwise? Go ahead. You want to say? I'm not interrupting anything.
Go ahead, Rad. All right. So, I mean, Rad, if you're still great at answering straightforward questions, right?
So great.
All right. If you're so great, why did you come into the room that where DP and Cleary and Sleepy and I were all hanging out? Fine. Why did you come in?
No Tanks, are you lying?
Why
Or
did
are
you
just
come in?
making stuff? No Tanks, are you lying? Are you
I might
making
be
up a
confused.
story?
I might be confused. Did you ever go in that room?
Is it so? The question is, why did I come in the room, or did I go in the room? Which is the question?
Well, I guess. Well, you're accusing me of lying. Have you ever gone in the room?
What room are you referring to? No Tanks.
It's called That Flat Earth on Discord.
I've never been in
Have you ever?
whatever you just said. I've never been in that room.
Never been in there. Okay. All right. Awesome.
So you lied. So you admit you lied then? Just admit you lied.
Well, I'd have to go check. Let me go check and see
No,
if
no,
I
no, no,
lied or if I'm
no.
mistaken.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
right?
Let me go
I've
check.
never been in there.
Who was in the room with you, supposedly?
Let me go. Well, let me go find out.
I want an apology for him
which
lying.
number? Yeah, I know. I was just wondering who were the people that you weren't in the room with. Who were they again?
He doesn't know. He wasn't there. He said.
Yeah, and then an apology.
Was that Sleeping Warrior? Because I'm pretty sure Kevin had come in here and gone, oh my god, I've been in a room with Sleeping Warrior. Because he's like that. He's a big fan of Sleeping Warrior, and I've never heard him do that, so I don't think he would have been in a room with Sleeping Warrior. It would have been a big, he would have been getting a tattoo and all of that sort of stuff. What did you say, Sleeping Warrior? Thanks.
What's up?
Did you say Sleeping Warrior when you were when you were trying to say Kev, the room that Kev wasn't in?
So any moment now, I'll be waiting for that apology. As one adult to the other, I would like an apology.
Were you ever in there? And if you weren't, yeah, I'm sorry if you weren't in there, but it looked like you. Maybe you stole your hat.
So then why would you lie and lead with this made-up story that I've been in that room? That's what I want an apology for.
Oh, okay. So if I made a mistake and it wasn't you, I apologize. Yeah, if it was you, I mean, then you're the one lying. But
That's a non-apology.
Yeah.
it's a non-apology. Yeah, right. Take it.
Mm.
Do what you want with it. Yeah. If it was you, or if it wasn't you, you haven't. Have you? Was it you? Or you ever been in that room?
Did anybody else hear what I said earlier, or was it just
Oh,
me?
what'd you say?
Yeah, no tanks.
You definitely
Why?
said that you haven't been in that server. Never mind that
Okay.
room. That's what I heard Kev say. Did you not hear that? Thanks.
Was it Kev? Who's Kev? No Rad?
Yeah.
Why are you a lying shitbag, no tanks?
Oh, okay. There we go.
No, why are you a lying shitbag?
Who's speaking now? Let me see.
It's a question.
Oh, sugar faggot.
Are you not a lying shitbag? Or
No,
are
I'm
you?
not a lying shitbag. If I made a mistake about no Rad, then yeah, I apologize for making a mistake.
No, don't start it with if.
No, we want to continue. I continue to stick on it. The no argument into something. Go ahead.
No, I'm telling you, you did make a mistake. So
There we go.
apologize directly to me. You don't have to give me a half-ass apology. Just say, hey, no, Rad, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah, no
wrong. I
Rad. My
lied.
bad for mistaking you with somebody else. I didn't lie at all.
Are you sorry about that, no tanks?
Well, I'm done talking about sorry. So what else you got to say?
Is that a yes or a no?
That's go fuck yourself. What else you got to say?
Yeah, you're a lying shitbag, aren't you?
Oh, there we
How's
go.
it feel to be called out as a lying shitbag? How's that feel?
Well, it would make you the liar.
Dig deep. It's okay.
So
Verbalize
is
it.
everybody else on that team. Never you.
Oh boy, you guys are. So there's
Boring,
a consensus
right?
out
I know.
there.
Yawn. It's a big yawn here, huh?
There's a consensus out there that
Accountability
this
is
room
accountability is so
is
boring.
awful. Right?
Oh,
I mean, how do you
it's
feel
the
about the
worst.
consensus? The room is awful because it's filled with people like you.
I'm not concerned
Right?
about the consensus of the room. I'm concerned
Okay.
about a lying bullshitter like you. That's what I'm more concerned about. That, honestly.
Right. Okay. What are you
That's my
gonna
feel.
what are you
Those
gonna
are
get
my
from it?
feelings. I'm telling you my feelings. All right.
Oh, your feelings are cute. I appreciate you giving me authority over your feelings.
Well, I didn't
How
mention
does
that,
it
but
feel? How does it feel to be called out as a lying shitbag?
yeah, how does that feel?
Well, I mean, it only makes you a liar, so I feel fine about it.
That doesn't. Wow,
Yeah.
that's another non-answer.
Well,
Like your
you're
non-argument.
the main sort of thing we can talk about when we talk about modern sophists, who are obviously lying shitbags, right? It's another word for them. We'll call it the modern sophist, right? You're going to be the first person, in my head anyway, that I'm going to link that to.
Where's that? It's in the dictionary, you said somewhere?
This is what lying shitbags do when they're called out, being called lying shitbags, and they don't have anything to say for themselves.
Yeah, what do they do, right? So and then so you're saying that they do this because I'm learning from you because you're the liar, right? So now what do they do next? Right, you constantly trying to make me the example while making the example of yourselves, like No Rad and Sugar Cookie, right? And it's interesting because I'm learning as an example.
Stop saying
from you,
right.
what lying shitbags do.
No, just let them keep going.
Shoot, without you guys as the example, there's no example of lying shitbags. Or sophists or whatever Bev defined in the dictionary. I don't know. However, he came up with these definitions, and you got a whole
Aren't you
bunch
doing
of lying
exactly what you
shitbags.
said? You accusing everybody else of projection.
Deflect as many other people as you can right now. Yeah.
Recap. Just get everybody on track. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What's your point?
Christ.
Trying to find the point and how you guys make something from nothing continuously, and you can just continue in a circle of nothingness forever. And I want Sugar Cookie just to remind the room of what nothing he's talking about.
A point that you haven't actually answered yet. How does it feel?
Which was
called out as a lying shitbag?
Feelings. Okay. Well, and where's your
something for a
proof of a lie?
Can we leave the conversation aside for a sec?
A second.
Could there be
authorize it?
Could there be another like voice channel so that there could be parallel conversations?
I detect you're getting sick of this conversation, right?
Yeah, it's just, cursing guy.
That was eloquent
That makes
destruction.
two of us.
I like that. I like that.
Listen, that makes four of us. What else you guys want to do?
Is that another concern troll? Is that a concern troll for the concern troll?
Could you define concern troll again?
Are you that fucking stupid?
No, he's just that egocentric.
You try to go somewhere else, and Bev makes sure you come right back to talking about nothing. All right.
Oh.
We'll continue with nothing then.
Bev makes you come right back, huh?
He brought you guys right back to nothing, and you all chimed in.
No. When you say you, I'm assuming you're encompassing yourself in that statement, correct?
Me too. I'm hanging
You're here,
with you
right?
guys. I'm going down with the ship.
No, I'm not agreeing with you. You're the one that fucking said it. So he keeps bringing you back, huh?
Can't even stay track. You can't stay on track. Like the progression of things.
What part on track am I on?
I can definitely stay on track about you being a lying shitbag, and how does that make you feel being called out for it? I'm staying on track.
Is that parallel to the other conversation? You want to go back on track, you right? Is this what you're saying? You want to backtrack? All right. So where do you get your premise that I'm a lying? What was it? With all your curses.
No, you're a modern day
Another guy
sophist.
doesn't like cursing. But
Modern day
lying.
sophist.
So go ahead back. Where's your premise that I'm a liar?
Because you've already proven yourself to be one. There's the premise.
Through what? Right. And where? Right. How?
Don't play the game.
Why are you on this server?
Don't play the game. Lie. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead. What was the premise of the lie?
You tell me. Why did you lie?
Well, I'm not the one calling me a liar, right? Or am I? Am I the one calling me a liar?
No, you admitted you lied, right? Because you apologized, right? Didn't you apologize to me for lying?
You don't know. One guy can't remember.
Is this narcissism or is it sociopath? Sociopath? What is it? I don't confused.
It's cluster B. Yeah, it's cluster B. It's all encompassing.
Run it back. Figure it out. What do you got? Make your statement. Or not. Or move on. Or if Bev wants you to stay here, then stay here. Bev did demand that you stay here, so I guess you have to obey for a little bit longer. How's it feel? Bev, they need your guidance. They need you to tell them what to do. Should they sit and pee or what? Can they stand up again and piss? I don't know. Front to back to the front. What do you do, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys do? Fuck, Bev. Tell them they can blink. Their eyes are getting dry. Awesome. You wonder why Chaiki doesn't want to be friends with you. I mean, it's fucking nuts.
This is a case. This is definitely a case study in something. I don't know what it is, but oof. Good.
I have a question about the sun. What is it? Like, according to contemporary theories, like flat Earth models. Like, what do you think? What's your best understanding?
You want me to give you the name of a couple rooms that'll give you like a straight answer, like maybe like a straight guess? Because this room will not.
If you have.
What's your name here?
You could just PM me, Drake Vital.
All right. I'll help you out, bro.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, trust this man. He's the guy that knows. If anybody knows what the sun is, tanks will be able to point you in the right direction. There's nobody here will be able to tell you anything about the sun. Don't worry about that.
If he doesn't know, he definitely knows somebody that does know. Yeah.
And then if he doesn't know, Have you ever been to Blue Marble Science, Frantic Bunny Ears? He's got a Discord server. They have all of the proofs of everything. They can tell you how far away it is, how big it is, what it's made of. They do all sorts of stuff over there.
I'll check out what he said. Like I just came here 2 minutes ago. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I wasn't saying good luck to you.
Do you think anybody knows what the sun is?
I think that if you get SC out of this room to speak with you, then he can give you his idea on things about the sun. These people here, buddy, they can give you ideas, but just not here. That's all. They're not idiots.
Bullshit. I'm talking to him about the sun right here in this room. Cut it out. No thanks. So, new guy, glad to meet you. I'm SC. Do you think anybody knows what the sun is?
No, my question is, like, what's your best guess? Is there any experiments, anything new? Because I'm like checking out the iFirst forum, and I don't have like much. Maybe there is something. I just want to know if somebody knows. Like,
well, let's start off with what they say it is, right? Let's prove no thanks wrong that we are able to have any conversation in this room.
No, I understand. Like, it's not 92 million miles or whatnot, but what actually is it? Like,
well, the honest answer is nobody knows.
Yes, that's the honest answer. But what's the best guess? How could we try proving it? Like, not proving it, but like creating a theory or trying to understand what it is. Is it a plasma? Is it circular? Is it a ball?
Well, here we do logic, right? So we'll start off logically. We'll start off with what they tell us it is, right?
Yeah.
Now, what they tell us it is a ball of gas undergoing thermonuclear reaction in a vacuum of space. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, I know.
I actually don't.
It's made of hydrogen, and it uses like
it fuses it
nuclear,
into helium, whatever.
into helium, and then it releases like a neutron, and those neutrons turn into free energy, and that causes a fusion reaction, which bursts out a lot of energy. But
Exactly.
yeah,
that's the official explanation. Right now, use your logic, right, and ask yourself: everything that you've seen of a vacuum and gas, can that, what they tell us, can that be possible in your mind?
Look, I learned a bit of physics, so I still have that, gravity mentality. So whenever you think of gravity, you're like instantly, oh, of course, yeah, gravity could do that. But to be honest, it's actually quite strange.
Yeah, because we know gravity is a very weak force, quote unquote, right? We're talking
it's
model
weak,
now.
but
Don't think I believe this stuff. I'm just going through the paces with you.
Very weak, but it's strong enough that it could hold the entire sun, like the entire particles of the sun, in one space, connected together.
Yeah, does that sound plausible to you?
Yeah, it's a stretch. It's a stretch.
It's a stretch, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So right away we're able to deduce using our logic